The next paper is presented by Cristina Specchi.
Good morning everyone, I am Cristina Specchi. I am a first year PhD student at the University of Bologna. This is a joint project with Luca Bonaccini and Giuseppe Pignataro, which are my co-supervisor and supervisor at the University of Bologna. And this project is about general schools and university performance. The last INVALSI data showed us that students that graduate from general schools outperform students that graduate from vocational schools. In particular, if we observe the data of the INVALSI test of students that graduate from technical institutes, they are still able to do a good performance at the end of high school. While if we observe the data of students that graduate from professional institutes, they have some troubles to reach the minimum required level at the end of high school. And this is important inequality that causes also influence on university access. In particular, this difference can be measured also in the different propensity of students to enroll and to want to enroll in tertiary education. If we look at the data, we can observe that the propensity to enroll to tertiary education is the 76% for students that graduate from general schools and only the 42% for students that graduate from technical institutes and the 27% for students that graduate from professional institutes. And this different propensity is also maintained when we observe the actual data of students that enroll within tertiary education. So we can see that the higher share of students that enroll in tertiary education is that of students that graduate from general schools. In the literature, there are a few papers that have already tried to evaluate which is the impact of graduating from a particular high school on university performance, and we would like to contribute to this literature by measuring what is the impact of graduating from a general school compared to graduating from a vocational one on university performance. And we look only at the data of students that have already decided to enroll within tertiary education. And so we focus on students that have also passed the entry test to tertiary education. In the literature, there is a lot of literature that tell us that there is a correlation between the social background of students with their choice of the school that they want to do, and in particular, students that come from a more privileged background are more likely to do a general school. And so there is a self-selection into the school tracks by the student itself. These differences between the students are also can be measured also in terms of, for example, the skills that they have, the propensity of study that they have, and also in terms of what they want to do at the end of high school, so for a job. And there is some literature that then tells that these differences are difficult to measure. However, to tackle with this issue, Carmagno and co-authors have adopted a propensity score matching, through which they have been able to show that the students that graduate from general schools outperform the other students in their university performance. And in the literature of Malamud and Pop-Elesh, they have shown with a regression discontinuity design that the difference in the school choice is also evident in the outcomes in the labor market. And in another paper, they have suggested that to remove these differences, it's more important to act in terms of increasing the available spots within tertiary education for students that graduate from a vocational school than acting in different ways. So we want to contribute to these trends of literature. We use the data of the students enrolled at the University of Bologna that counts 90,000 students enrolled every year. We have the administrative records with these unique data sets that permit us to measure their demographic and to have their demographic and socio-economic background, and we can also have information and precise information about their high school. This information is very important for us for the aim of this paper, so to measure the impact of general school on university performance, because we have information, for example, of the name of the high school, of the location of the school, as well as of the school track. We have data from 2017 to 2021, and we consider data only for students that enrolled at the University of Bologna at the age of 19 within a single cycle degree or bachelor degrees. We have made this decision in order to consider only students that enrolled at the University of Bologna soon after finishing high school, and so to exclude all the students that maybe have done other job experiences or travel experiences between the end of high school and the beginning of university. So at the end we have a restricted sample of 163,000 students. This is our baseline estimating equation, where our outcomes of interest is the university performance that we measure in terms of the average grades of students throughout the academic year or the cumulative number of credits that they can earn every year, and we regress it on general school. That is a dummy variable that takes the value 1 if the students have attended a general school. And then we add also other time-varying characteristics, other time-invariant characteristics, and we consider also the university degree fixed effect. We know that this is a underestimation of our delta parameter, because there are some individual characteristics that are not considered. So for example, the soft skills of the students, their ability to study, and other aspects that are important when we measure the university performance, and also some differences that are due to the choice of a general school itself. So we adopt an instrumental variable strategy, in which we select as an instrument this variable that is the share of general schools. That is an exogenous instrument, since we consider that the presence of general schools or of vocational schools within a territory are more connected to an institutional choice. And so it's a job exogenous to the student itself. This is a dummy variable that takes the value 1 if the total number of general schools out of the total number of schools within a municipality is higher than the median. And the rationale behind this is that the more widespread is the presence of a school within a territory, the more likely is that a student will enroll there. However, also with this strategy, we think that there are some endogeneity issues that remain, that are also connected to our instrument. So we did some correlation analysis between the share of general schools and grades and credits that are our outcomes of interest, and we observed that this correlation is very, very low, and also with some macroeconomic variables that we take from INVALSI and ISA data set to also measure the spatial correlation. And for example, we consider the share of financial investments, the share of unemployment, or the share of migrants within a territory, and these correlations are low with the share of general schools, as well as, for example, for INVALSI, we selected the degree of the parents of the students, and also in that case there is a relatively low correlation. However, as I said, there are also some other heterogeneities that remain, that are due to the individual characteristics of the students, but also to the aspects connected to the university degree, because there may be some differences in terms of the size of the class or in terms of the exams that the students do, so we want to remove this effect. And to do so, we adopt a two-step procedure in the spirit of Bosquet and Overman to remove these differences. So here you can see the two-step estimating equation. In the first step, we regress our outcome of interest, so credits and grades, on time-varying characteristics and on individual characteristics of the students, and we observe the degree fixed effect in order to remove this aspect. And in this way, we are able, in the second step, once we have collected the individual characteristics, to regress it on general school, that is our dummy variable, and also time invariant characteristics, to have a better estimation of our delta parameter. And in this case, we also consider our instrumental variable that we have seen before. In this table, you can observe the results of our estimations. You can see for the average grades of students that there is a positive and statistically significant impact of having attended a general school on grades that students do. And we can observe that in the first column there are the results of the baseline estimation. In the second one we have the instrumental variable. In the third one we have the estimation of the two steps without our instrumental variable, and the third one we can consider the second step with also the instrumental variable. And we can observe, so in the second column and the third, that the results and the magnitude of the coefficient increases if we add also our instrumental variable. And it's also interesting noting that if we compare the second column with the third column, we observe that the magnitude of the coefficient is similar. So there is also a robustness of our instrument. And to this I have not included in this table, but we have also done some robustness analysis of the instrument to show that it is, for us, we think it's the good one for our objectives. In this case, we can observe the results for the cumulative number of credits, so what is the impact of having attended a general school on credits. And in this case, we can observe how important is the impact. And if we focus on the third column that refers to our two-step, we can understand how important is for a student to have attended a general school to do a lot of credits compared to the other students. And this aspect is very important because the more credits a student do, the more likely is also that they will graduate at the end of the university career. So as a conclusion, we can say that thanks to this unique administrative datasets with daily information of the student career, we have been able to measure the impact of having attended a general school on university performance, focusing only on the extensive margin, so on students that have already decided to enroll within tertiary education. So we know that we are not considering the choice itself to do a tertiary education. And in this way we have been able to assess the impact of a general school on university performance. That is an important determinant of success in terms of the career of the student. And we have also observed some heterogeneous effects that I have in appendix, but I don't know if we have time to see them. Maybe we can discuss them. Sorry? So maybe later. And one other aspect that we would like to discuss also with you is how we can close the gap that exists between students that graduate from a vocational school or from a general school, and in particular what is the channel that makes this difference to exist. For example, our question is how is the preparation gap influenced in terms of the skills obtained by the students and in terms of what subjects they study during their course in high school. So this was my presentation. Thank you for your attention.